Okay, go for it, Josh.
That's awesome. Okay.
Knock this out.
All right. So, first question was, how long have you been coming to Bonavista, and what has Bonavista meant for your family?
Right.
Family, yeah.
How long have we been coming? So we started coming here in 97, so it's 16 years. Quick little math. Moved here from Red Deer. But an interesting story about how we came to go to Bonavista is...
Well, it would have been about... Jillian was a baby, and we were living in Red Deer, and there was a women's event that Bonavista was sponsoring, and I came. And Jillian was still a baby, so she had to come along with me, and so I had 2 full days of having to care for her by myself and hold her and that sort of thing. And Joanne Godfrey on Friday night came over and took Jillian from me so that I could eat when dinner was served, and she kept her for the whole time so that I could just sit and enjoy my meal. And she held her quite a bit during those 2 days, and I remember going back to Red Deer feeling very blessed by that, and that I said to Mike, if we ever end up in Calgary again, I think we should go to Bonavista. They have a very practical way of loving the people who come through the doors. And so we found ourselves, 7 years later, moving to Calgary, kind of unexpectedly. And we showed up at Bonavista the first Sunday we arrived, and we've been here ever since.
Mm-hmm. One of those first Sundays, Pastor Murray introduced us to the Greens, Florian and Edith, and they said, "Hey, why don't you guys come on over for lunch today?" And so that was like the first or second Sunday that we were there, and we got to know the Greens, which was great because Justin and Chris have been friends ever since, and that just really showed us that it's a good place to go. That we got connected with people right away, that they were open and friendly, and that was a positive thing. And we've always felt that there's no sense in shopping around from one church to the next. You know, once you find a place, you stick with it. Right? You're there. Because it's so hard to develop good, strong relationships with people. At least I find it is, anyways. And so, to skip from one place to the other, you're kind of, just sort of acquaintances you wave at in the foyer. But to get to know people is, you can cut that. You can snip that part.
I guess it was important for us to find a place where we could put down roots. And I guess learn to get along with people, right? No matter where you go, you bring yourself. So do the work of getting along with people. The church has always been our most important community. And I guess as we were raising our family, we wanted a spiritual community that would help develop in our children a love for Jesus. And that is something we have received from Bonavista, where our children have been discipled well, and that they're serving in the church themselves, and that they love Jesus. And that has been a gift that this community has given to us, and that we've tried to contribute to as well. We've been, it's precious to us that 3 of our children were baptized in this church. Still waiting a little while for the 4th. We'll see.
3
Luke.
so far, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. So what kind of, in a couple words, what kind of values do you think Bonavista exerted while you guys were coming to the church that you appreciated from it?
A place to develop community. It was so community, and it was people were open to meeting new people. They welcomed us. They encouraged us, in our parenting, and the other men in the church who were going through this, same stage of life I was. They encouraged me as being a father and a husband.
I feel like Bonavista is good at loving the people that come through the doors. that there is a spirit of caring that happens here. It's a number of years ago, my sister Donna went through having to leave her home, and she didn't have any money, and she wasn't connected to a community. And a bunch of men from this church showed up. They just showed up and blessed her. They moved her into a new house. None of them knew her and have not seen her since that day. And I will carry that with me forever. That they, like your church would come and help move me. And she had no resources, and the church came and served her, and they didn't need to know anything more than they were needed. And that's
Very
what I
cool.
love about Bonavista. One of the many things I love about Bonavista.
Awesome.
Something else I love about Bonavista is that I think we really appreciate when individuals feel moved here to pursue something with God, where God is calling them to something. So I think of Sixtrum serving in Romania. We have rallied behind Corey and Aaron. They are an important part of our community that is serving God in another part of the world, and we continue to love them. And I guess on a different level, Mike and I,
With our outdoor club, Clary has had such a passion for wanting to get out to the mountains. And she said, well, why don't we see if a bunch of other people at the church want to go? And I kind of thought, well, gee, should we ask permission? Can ask the pastor if we can start a club. And she didn't ask, and we didn't need to ask. And
what is that? Something about apologize later or something?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and apologize later. Do you know, I love what the outdoor club is becoming in our church. There's been a lot of people that have come together and enjoyed the outdoors with us and have just enjoyed meaningful fellowship. We've got so many stories of funny things that have happened, poetry that's been read and scripture that's been shared. And
after 10 or 12 or 15 kilometers of climbing up, you start to let your true self come out. And so you get to know each other differently.
Mostly it's been pretty good. People have kind of held themselves together pretty well. But it's been a great place of fellowship to join with other people doing something that we love in God's creation. It's been great to get to know a part of the body better that way.
Very cool.
I guess I really appreciate the leadership in this church as well. A couple of years ago, the church board got together for a meeting, and we had an agenda we needed to work through, and we hadn't started too far into it, and the energy in the room was really low. I think people came exhausted, and they had a tough week. And Pastor Murray stopped the meeting. He stopped the meeting. We were in the middle of this process that we were working our way through, and he stopped that, and he got up, and he went and prayed over each board member, stood behind them, and prayed individually for each board member. Maybe took a half an hour of time that we probably didn't feel like we had, and that stayed with me. What I experienced to be loved by my pastor when I was in a place where my role at that point was to provide some leadership to the church, and instead our pastor ministered to the leadership of the church. And there's lots of reasons why we love Bonavista, but that's just another one of the reasons we love to be here.
They have a great drummer. Sunday morning worship, great drummer.
Yeah, he does all right. Hey?
Well, and it's cool. I mean, they let him start drumming before he was amazing.
There was some loud Sundays.
Yeah.
Loud.
Yeah, we are rookies.
Well, and there's lots of opportunities where the young people have been given, before they were ready, they were given opportunities to serve and to lead, and they learned and they grew, and I think that's really cool. You you can try and you can do things without having to think you got it all together. And
Yeah.
really, that's kind of the way it is with a lot of things at the church. None of us really have it all together.
Not at all.
Certainly not all the time, and yet that's cool at the church. I mean,
I wonder how that's going to go yet, trying to turn the foyer into a little bit of a parkour gym.
oh
For Luke Benner. Yeah.
There's some pretty good tolerance in the community here.
need thicker walls.
That's awesome. Great.
Is that the interview?
Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks, guys.